Next on Worcester News tonight, taking care of those most susceptible to hepatitis A. A look at the work the city's Quality of Life Task Force does. Plus, making math fun. Table Talk Pie celebrates Pie Day with elementary school students. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. A cloudy but warmer day today as we get ready for temperatures to possibly reach 60 degrees tomorrow. And with tomorrow's warm up comes some scattered showers. Meteorologist Tim Kelly is tracking it and has a first look at our local forecast.
Yeah, all weather eyes still watching that storm in the middle of the nation. We had sunshine just west of the city today. At the airport, we only hit 45. Certainly could be worse. Tornado outbreak along the Ohio River. Blizzard continues in Minnesota. This storm is now weakening, and it's moving more to the north than the east. So the weather forecast for tomorrow has been getting better and better, just as it had for today. At the airport today, 45. Temperature may not even go down below 45 in a lot of spots tonight. The wind is coming in from the south. Maybe we'll get to 40. It looks like the sky wants to clear out for a short time this evening. That allows some radiational cooling. But the snow is going to continue to melt. Is it going to rain tomorrow? A tiny bit. There's a shower at 7:30 in the morning, 46 degrees, but also some holes in the clouds. Could see a little bit of sun. There's noontime. Now we're at 50-55. Not much going on. Looks like some rain may get enhanced with a thunderstorm to our southeast. We may see the sun before it goes down tomorrow afternoon, 55 to 60. And then it gets cooler, but it's a nice looking St. Patrick's Day weekend. More forecast coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Tim. The city's Quality of Life team is having a lot of success combating an outbreak of hepatitis A in Worcester. The group is making sure the most vulnerable populations are receiving vaccinations and access to other services they need. Our Anna Botari has more.
Worcester's Quality of Life Task Force was out Thursday, making contact with the city's homeless population. It's something they do weekly. Their mission is to connect homeless individuals with services.
We go to certain sites, we go to the soup kitchen, we go to all different areas try to reach out to individuals who need whether mental health treatment or substance abuse treatment and try to really connect them with the services they may need.
Responding to a recent hepatitis A outbreak, Chief Public Health Nurse Pat Bruckman has brought vaccinations with her on the team's travels to help stop the spread of the disease. She says they've seen 59 cases since last June.
With our vaccination efforts between the Department of Public Health, AIDS Project Worcester, and all of our community partners, we've been able to, make some major headway, handing out over, 400 vaccines.
Bruckman says they've had great success in decreasing the number of hepatitis A cases in Worcester. She says they were seeing about 15 cases a month. They're now seeing 0 to 1.
Our vaccination efforts are proving worthwhile.
Team leader Dan Cahill says whether people accept the vaccinations or not, every time they go out, they're looking to make a connection with someone.
A long-term goal is obviously to get these individuals the treatment they need, get them into long-term housing and wraparound services.
Anna Botari, Worcester News Tonight.
Governor Charlie Baker raising awareness about the dangers of driving under the influence at the State House today. He was joined by public safety leaders and advocates. They highlighted a campaign to educate cannabis users about the dangers of impaired driving. The Baker administration filed new legislation to strengthen the state's impaired driving laws and give law enforcement more resources to keep roads safe. It's a busy year in the city of Worcester for municipal elections. More than 30 candidates have announced their intentions to enter the race, and it looks like there is a chance school committee and city council could see more challengers than incumbents. The Worcester Regional Research Bureau is looking at the possibility of adopting ranked choice voting. Voters would rank the candidates in order of who they think should serve. The Research Bureau says it could mean more engagement in local elections.
So the hope is that people will feel more free to run as a candidate if they know they aren't going to hurt someone who is ideologically similar. And in the same vein, it allows voters to vote for who they really and truly want to see succeed, as opposed to having to vote strategically and pick a front runner.
And the city clerk's office says Worcester used the method in the 1950s, but it took too long to count votes. With new technology, it's a feasible option.
If the residents and the city decides to move forward, we'll find solutions and we'll come up with a plan that's kind of achievable.
And in Massachusetts, Cambridge is the only city who uses the system. Suicide prevention leaders from across Massachusetts are honored at the State House earlier this week. One of them is a West Boylston woman who helped organize a local group of volunteers. They respond directly to the scene of a suicide death. Our Roslyn Flaherty joins us now with more on the woman's mission. Roslyn.
Olivia, when she lost her brother, she wishes there was someone there to help her family. Now she uses that experience to help others. It's been more than 35 years since Barbara Brunzell lost her oldest brother to suicide, and she still thinks about him every day.
It never goes away. I mean, people, and that's the thing about suicide loss, is that you can't understand it unless you've experienced it.
Her brother Dan committed suicide when he was 17 years old. Brunzell says she was at a friend's house when her mom called and said Dan left a note.
I went home and a police officer showed up eventually and told my mom that they had found him and that he had died.
Brunzell says the loss was emotional and tough on her whole family. After the services, they never talked about it.
I really felt when I learned about this program that if we had had a LOSSteam show up with that police officer who told us and left, that we would have had a very different healing process.
Now she wants to help other families. She is the chapter founder and team leader of LOSSteam Metro West. It's the first program in the state where volunteers respond directly to the scene of a suicide death and provide assistance and comfort to families.
The instant this happens, you think that you are alone and that no one else has ever dealt with this, and how can I possibly make it through? To have someone show up who has been through it and is standing there and has obviously, continued and is living with it and is really powerful.
The response team can be activated in several towns in Massachusetts through police departments. Earlier this week, the organization was honored at the State House as a suicide prevention leader. Brunzell says she's thankful to be able to help others, and it's also part of her healing process.
It's really an endless journey. It's just about trying to manage how you handle it.
She hopes to soon have the response team in every city and town across the state. Roslyn Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
In Templeton, police dealt with an unusual situation today. A bear spotted on Route 2 forced authorities to shut down the road between exits 19 and 20 for a short time today. They found the bear family had actually made their den in the road's median. You can see the bear in the back of the truck, and state police putting these photos out on social media. They say the bear was tranquilized, and state environmental police taking the mother and cubs to a safe location in a nearby state forest. Hundreds of table talk pies are handed out to elementary school students in Worcester in an effort to make math fun. Today is Pi Day, which represents the first three numbers in pi, 3.14. As our Gretchen LaRosa explains, Table Talk says it's important to interact with students in the community.
We think it's so important to celebrate pi. It's such a special number. You know, it's a number that helps us make circles.
Harry Kokinis knows a thing or two about pie as the owner of Worcester-based Table Talk Pies. But today he's talking about pi without the E, the numerical symbol. He's using the famous pies to help get students interested in math. Table Talk donated 70,000 snack-sized pies to schools across New England, including 400 pies to the Canterbury Elementary School in Worcester.
Community partners are huge. It's a very important aspect, especially in an inner city school. We need to be finding and allocating all resources possible. They don't always have the support from families, so if they can find the support from someone in their community, it's very beneficial for everybody.
Teacher Alexandra Spro says this is a fun way to help students make the connection between pie the number and pie the dessert.
When students come in, they usually associate pie with table talk or some sort of delicious treat. But as a teacher, we want them to understand that pi is a really important way to find the circumference of a circle.
The number pi goes on forever, but is often rounded to 3.14, which is why it's celebrated on March 14th.
You know, the importance of the math, but also bringing in the community, building relationships with the pie.